Okay, I have 5 questions in here. The first question, I know what bad and good karma are, but not sure if I understand what neutral karma means. Would you please elaborate on this kind of karma? First of all, you have to really know what karma is. What is karma? Karma, if I put it very simply, is an accumulation of your speech, your behavior, and your thought. Every thought counts. If I can put it in common English, it would be an accumulation of your latent and obvious energy. Everything you do has energy. Even a thought. The thought is the origin of an energy. An energy expressed in terms of speech, behavior, then it accumulates momentum. It becomes a volitional entity. You don't feel happy about it, and then you want to yell it out, you want to curse. That cursing, that bad language, has become an energy. That's become an energy that then induces mental afflictions in you and in the recipient of that language. So we've been accumulating karma every second, every thought. The Buddha said, watch every thought, not just every word, every thought. If every day you're germinating good thought and altruistic thought, you know the difference between an altruistic thought and an egoistic thought? An egoistic thought is always for yourself. What would be better for me? I want to be better. I want to get more. I don't want to be at a disadvantage. I always want to get egoistically. Altruistic is a bodhisattva's approach. Always want to give. Not just getting, you have to give. The more you give, the more you return. The more you get, the less the return would be. Because when you're giving out, you're extending your energy, and energy accumulates momentum. So it's always good to give. So that's the reason why in many other religions there's a saying, giving is more blissful than receiving. Bad karma will have a consequence of bad retribution. You know what retribution is? If killing is your cause, for example, that the retribution will be you get caught by the police and you get punishment, imprisonment, or capital punishment, whatever. So there's certain consequence. So if bad karma will lead to bad consequence, and good karma will lead to good consequence. So if you're always helpful, if you're always compassionate, then good karma will be accumulating. And what is neutral karma? Neutral karma, if I'm sitting at home, I'm not doing anything, I'm watching a TV, and the TV is a clean, non-polluted piece of documentary. I'm not creating any karma, I'm just watching, I'm not doing anything bad, I'm not doing anything good. It all depends on the content of the movie too. If that movie is violence and sex, it induces bad karma in you. So it's very difficult actually. It's quite rare to be producing only neutral karma. Because mostly it's either bad or good, and most people do is more bad karma than good karma. Imagine how many people will be caring for others. What they care is just for themselves. So everything has karma that you produce. A word, a thought, every action. A squint of the eye sometimes. Surprisingly, a smile produces karma too. You don't have to say anything, you smile to someone. That's good karma. So everything you do, all body language, every small little action has karma. Karma also has common karma and individual karma. What is common karma? Right now we're in this hall enjoying the same food. This food is common to all of us. This food is common because we're enjoying the same food. Our karma brings us here that we're enjoying the same food. But actually, there's individual karma in it. everybody's thinking when he's eating is not the same. Some people say, gee, I don't want this, I better go to hamburger. And some people, when they're eating vegetarian food, they may be still thinking about problems at home. I don't like my dad. This morning he sort of said something I don't understand, and I don't like it. My mom is always yelling at me. When he's eating, he's not paying attention. He's thinking all about this bad thing surrounding him. He's very negative. So everybody has individual karma when he's eating. And one person may say, oh, I really enjoyed it. How good it is to have a complimentary lunch. Some people must have donated to this. I can't eat it for free. Maybe someday later I would do the same charity work. I want to help out on others. I'm enjoying food now. Maybe sometime I should donate it myself. His mind is different. But another guy says, oh, this is food, okay. Gee, I can come here every Saturday to have a free lunch. Then I can save $5, $6 every lunchtime on Saturday, and that's good for me. So every individual karma is different. Like in an assembly of Sangha members, for example, monks and nuns. We have common karma. We're enjoying the same building, we're living in the same accommodation, we're enjoying the same food, we're wearing more or less the same gowns, the same. But some people live happily, and some people are always sad. Some people live as if this is good. Some people live as if they're always finding faults in other people. This is not right. That is not right. This is not according to my wish. This is not democratic. This is unfair. Whereas the others, they just take things easily. They just receive it and try to keep cool and calm about it. And they don't fall into the trap of perception. They don't follow with the perceptible idea of joy, happiness, unhappiness, unpleasantness. They don't fall into that trap. So individual karma is different, but the common karma is the same. Next. Can you speak on the Eightfold Path? It takes time to speak on the Eightfold Path. The right view, right understanding, right speech, right meditation, right concentration, right action, right livelihood. There's Eightfold Paths. If you follow this Eightfold Paths, then you'll follow your way to enlightenment. It takes another session to explain the Eightfold Path in detail. But these days, communication is so good that you can always Google in anything you want. If you Google and say, Holy Eightfold Path, it will have a lot of information to explain to you. Do you have the time to get the information? These days, I don't even have to take a look at my printed dictionary. When I have something I don't understand, I just get into the computer. It's so easy. Next, how can we know our soul or consciousness transmigrates to another world when we die? In other words, how do we know that we get into the next life? How do you get to know something? Let's try to get into more detail. How do you know to get to know something? There's certain ways to get to know something, right? Number one is by actually have direct experience with it. I can see this flower. I know this is flower because my eyes see it. You talk to me, I listen to your sound, I know that you're talking to me. There's actual factual experiences. Then I know. I know you're there because you're talking to me. I know you're there because my eyes can see you. If my eyes can see Ellen in there, I say Ellen is not there, then my eyes have problems. If Ellen is talking to me and I say Ellen is not talking to me, then my ears have a problem. So I know the existence of certain things by actual direct experiences of my senses. Right? This is how we know. And of course, sometimes my senses may go wrong. If eyes cannot see properly, if ears cannot function properly, you don't use your senses properly, then there may be problems. Now, first of all, we get direct information by knowing is the actual direct experience. Then we believe it. By direct experience, we believe in something. That's the first thing to know. The second is from a second source. My dad, which I trust, I believe, told me this, and I believe him. My dad told me that he has a dad, who is my granddad, And even though my granddad died, I didn't see my granddad with my eyes. I didn't listen to my granddad with my ears. But my father told me that he has a father and I have a granddad. Do I not believe in him? No, I didn't see my granddad with my eyes, so I don't believe in the existence of my granddad. Can you say that? Because that means you also believe in something by some other people telling you. But that source has to be trustworthy though, right? So you trust your father because your father told you he has a father. And also you believe in it by what? By analysis and investigation, by thinking. You think about it. I have a dad. I came from my dad. So my dad must came from another dad. And the other dad must from the other dad. So by this belief, I postulate and I analyze. I say, I believe in it. So by postulation, by extrapolation. The third is by your investigation, your analysis, and your thinking. So do we have a previous life? How do we believe in that we have a previous life? We look into transmigration. How do we know we have another body? When we die, we roll into another body, or we roll from another body before. How do we know about this? Because if I just exist now, when I come to think of it, then somebody told me that there are cases that they have previous lives and they have studies about previous lives, so I should research into them. And in the Western world, and the scientists, there is a lot of scientists. One of the renowned ones is Anderson. He studied 3,000 cases of reincarnation. He spent 40 years in studying previous life cases, and they were proven to be very scientific. So if I read those cases, I know there's reincarnations. And also I believe in the time frame. If I have the yesterday, I have tomorrow, and I have the present, then there's no logic not to believe that in this life there is no previous life. Because time is of the past, the present, and the future, and the past is not just the yesterday. It must be deducing or developed from another time frame, which we call previous life. So when I believe in it, there's so many sources that I believe in it, because there's a lot of cases that prove that so. Beethoven was able to compose music at the age of 6 or 7. Where did he learn it from? He didn't learn it. He remembered from previous lives. Bach, not just that, a lot of genius, they remember from their previous life. Pianist was able to play at the age of 6 or 7. Nobody taught him before, but how come he could play piano, jazz music so well? Because he remembered from previous life. So there are a lot of cases. If you blindly say, no, I don't believe in it because I didn't see it, I couldn't remember. If I can remember my previous life, then I believe in it. I cannot remember my previous life. But let me tell you, do you remember what happened to you when you were 2 years old? You can't even remember things when you were 2 years old. How could you remember things that is 1 life ago or 2 life ago? I don't want to go into more details. There's a lot of studies in reincarnation and previous life and transmigration. If you don't believe in reincarnations, that means you are refuting the philosophy of causality. You know what causality is? There's a cause for certain things to come out. The reason why you are here today, if we take that as an effect that you have today, your arrival, eating a lunch in here, if we take that as an effect, there must be a lot of other causes that brought you here. You learn about this temple, you were healthy and you were able to drive, and you know the address of this. A lot of reasons for bringing you here. So there's nothing happened without a cause. And we call it causality. So whenever a cause is terminated, there's got to be effect leading from that cause. If we don't believe in the next life, that means we cut that logic. Now I killed somebody. I germinated a cause of killing. And I got away with it. Nobody caught me, I died. And then there's no bad causality flowing from this bad karma. So you are cutting the logic of causality. You're refuting that philosophy. You may not know about it. You're refuting that. In Buddhism, are there teachings on intuition? And if so, what are they, and how do we become more in tune to intuition? I don't know the psychological definition of intuition. Maybe when we say intuition, we say intuition is a feeling. I don't know if I'm right. When you go into a place that is dangerous, then you may have a feeling that, oh, I shouldn't enter that place. I have an intuition that I should avoid the danger. Or if I meet somebody, I have an intuition this is a bad guy or this is a good guy. Is that what you mean by intuition? I went to Thailand 35 years ago, and I toured a royal palace. I was looking at these old pictures mounted on this old royal palace exhibition, and I found that it seemed that I've been here before. I've been to that place before. I don't know why. There are places that I feel that I've been to before, but I've never been there. And there's also deja vus. Something is going to happen, but it seems that it triggers something in the mind that this is going to happen. We call it deja vu. Is that what you mean by intuition?
I have a question.
Yeah?
I have a question about when you say that when you say bad or good.
Yeah.
Is that called we are judging?
How you're judging,
Yeah.
good or bad, yes, is how you're judging, but it does not matter what your judge is. If you perform bad karma, like hurting someone, you kill someone, you cannot say, I killed him, but I judge it to be good. Can you judge it to be good? No, right? So there must be some common criteria. However, in certain situations, the criteria of good and bad may not be that clear. But if you hurt someone, he killed someone, and he later repent, and that would be better because he knows that he's wrong. There's some people who kill someone have still insisted I'm right in killing him. Because there's no causality. Because he said something wrong to me, that's why I killed him. I did it with a cause. You can't say that you are good. That's the reason why we have a judge, okay? The judge judges on certain circumstances. Right and wrong is not just one direct line. You have to depend on the circumstances. But in a lot of cases, whether right or wrong, it still produces karma. Because karma has neutral karma too. Even if it is neutral, you still have neutral karma coming out, neutral retribution. And nobody determined this. It comes naturally. It's not God who determined that you'll be punished. It flows naturally. It's not anybody determined that this is bad, because the badness will flow into the badness state naturally. No God will determine that. There's so many examples in that. Nobody give any blind judge to anything. If you hurt someone, you induce injury to other people, you kill people, you lie, you curse, or if you deserted your family, you don't care about your kids, and let them die on the streets. And there are certain common criteria of morality in the society that we, quote unquote, we classify that as good or bad by us, by the group, by all of us. We know that drinking driving is dangerous, it's not right. You can't say that, oh, I judge it to be good. You can't say that. Because by our common criteria is if you're drinking driving, you will induce other people to be killed on the road. And every year, 8,000, 9,000 people die because of drunken driving. You can't say, oh, drunken driving does not matter good or bad. It may be good, it may be bad. But if you induce pain on other people, suffering on other people, it's not good. Right? Yeah. Yes?
You mentioned 3 things, like you can know through direct experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Through direct experiences. Yeah. 3, basically 3, yes.
When you mentioned direct experience, did you mean you can have direct experience if you do meditation, and if you come closer to enlightenment, you will know that there is a reincarnation you can see? Is that?
That's a good response. You sit down, I'll tell you what I mean. You sit down. Direct experiences has 2 categories. One is the delusory experiences. Our senses interact and directly. I see Ellen in here, so my direct eyesight, I hear Ellen, I taste my food. There's direct experiences. There's also direct experiences coming from contemplation, meditation, direct experiences into the truth, into the Tathagata. That is the Buddha's experience. Direct experience into one noble truth, direct experience into purity. So direct experiences is not just more of the senses now, it's more of the internal enlightenment direct experiences. That direct experiences is not tainted, is not polluted, it's pure. That is pure direct enlightenment. And this, depending on the six senses, are impure direct experiences. It's two categories. Good suggestion. Yeah. Let me tell you, just summarize it in a very intuition, summarize it in a very, in a nutshell, we can always call it. We have been interacting with our senses to the outside world. Our eyes, our ears, our nose, everything, our senses interacting with the outside world. And because of this interaction, our organs interact with the objects, with you, with all this variety of objects. When we have this contact, immediately that consciousness is created in us. That consciousness will induce us to be angry, to be jealous. So in other words, we go into that loophole of perception. We're being led away by perception. We're being led away by what we feel, by our intuition. The idea of meditation is not being led away by that perception. When something induces you to be angry, when something induces you in your perceptions to be feeling unpleasurable, to feeling unfair, you don't let perceptible feeling lead you further and further away, because then all the bad mental afflictions will come up because of that being led away. You have to stay calm and stand back behind. Don't go over the clouds, we always say. You are the mountain that is untouched and irremovable. When the clouds of mental afflictions of jealousy, hatred, sorrowfulness, all these things come by, don't drift with them. Stay firm in where you are, in your consciousness, in your impure consciousness. Don't go with the clouds. In the Chinese language, it's 不与万法为侣. Do not be a companion to everything you get into contact with. Otherwise, you go with them. You go with, if something unpleasant comes up, you go with unpleasantness. Something happy, you go with happy. Something bad, you go with bad. Pain, you go with pain. And you're not yourself. You're being led away. You're not the master of yourself. Appreciate what you've got now. If you're feeling unpleasant, step back. You must say, I have my eyes to see, I have my nose to smell, I have my ears to listen to. Right now I'm still living. I should have been dead already. But I can still practice. I'm still alive. I should be very happy. So there's no circumstances that you'll be unhappy. I still remember this gentleman by the name, I don't know, is it Bruce? Bruce? And he had been very unhappy. He had a kind of sickness that cannot be curable. And he had come to the meditation for a number of years. And he always remembered his unhappiness. And finally he took his life on the railway track. And we all feel so sorrowful about it. Because at one time he used to be so happy, but then he suddenly turning unhappy because he enclosed himself in a prison that he cannot get out. Appreciate what you've got now. Enjoy life. You're living at the present moment, here and now. You are happy, telling yourself, I'm happy right now and here. It doesn't have to be yesterday, it doesn't have to be tomorrow. I'm happy right now, I'm very happy. Because I'm still living.